We're learning more about actor Matthew Perry's final moments before his death. The 54-year-old Friends star died last October in a hot tub at his Los Angeles area home. An autopsy found he had high amounts of ketamine in his blood. According to court documents, his assistant claims he gave the actor multiple injections of the drug on the night of his death. 2 of the 5 suspects charged in Perry's death have pleaded not guilty. That includes a Los Angeles area doctor and a drug dealer that, according to the Justice Department, is known to her customers as the, quote, ketamine queen. The other 3 defendants, including Perry's assistant, have either pleaded guilty or agreed to do so at a later date. CBS News correspondent Adam Yamaguchi joins us now from Los Angeles. Adam, the allegations unveiled Thursday were disturbing. Walk us through the case prosecutors have laid out.
Sure. As you mentioned, of the 5 defendants, 3 have already pled guilty or have reached plea agreements. And particularly the assistant's account, I think, provides much of the information that the prosecutors needed to help build that case. And now, through the assistant's accounts, the prosecutors have found a treasure trove of text messages from between himself as well as the doctors and intermediaries. And that signaled to the prosecutors that all 5 involved, were very acutely aware of what sort of damage and harm they were bringing to Matthew Perry, who, of course, had been suffering from depression and has had a very public history with addiction. One particular noteworthy exchange that was shared between one of the doctors and another was, "I wonder how much this moron will pay," followed by, "We'll find out." Now, after news of Perry's overdose death was released or out in the news, Sangha, the so-called ketamine queen, as you referred to, sent out another text in which she wrote, "Delete all of our messages." So clearly there was a level of awareness that what they were doing was bringing harm and that they tried to cover their tracks. One other thing that I should point out is that authorities raided what they believed was they called Sangha's stash house. And this is what they call a drug-selling emporium where dozens of vials of ketamine were found, as well as a number of other illicit drugs.
You mentioned his very public struggle with addiction. What have prosecutors said about his battle leading up to his death?
Right, so let me walk you a little bit through the timeline of events. So Matthew Perry was undergoing ketamine therapy to treat his depression symptoms through a licensed clinician. He was undergoing that therapy, and at one point he had determined that he wanted a higher dosage. Now, the doctors there refused to up his dosage, and that's where he sent out his assistant to look for other means. And there were many opportunities for people to find, or for him to find, illicit sources of this drug. And that is where he came upon one of the doctors charged, known as Dr. P, as well as the so-called ketamine queen. And from there, we learned that 50 vials had been sold from the so-called ketamine queen, allegedly to his assistant, including the fatal dose that took his life in late October.